Are you guys ready to see and witness a record delivery number and a record energy number? Well, I am, and that's exactly what's going to happen in this Q3 earnings. Well, earnings is going to be a record too, in my opinion. Revenue is, not the profits, but nonetheless, I finalized my Q3 numbers and I'm going to release it to you guys. And look, here's the thing, right? Whether Tesla hits over 500,000 vehicle deliveries, if that happens, I'll be shocked and I'll be going live stream for it. So you guys will see my reaction if that happens. But the data is not really supporting that. And, I'll let you guys know when I do the estimation, stuff like that here to show you guys what my production numbers and my delivery numbers are. But what's more important here, guys, delivery, 10,000 more or less, that doesn't really matter. What's more important here is the energy numbers. That I think is gonna be the big changer, the game changer, right? So let's get down to it. Smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go. Here is my daily production chart, delivery chart, estimating Tesla's deliveries on a quarterly basis, and you guys can see the numbers. Now, we did get an update on this on August. We had over 83,000 vehicle deliveries from China. This is not production, and I added July and August for Shanghai only to the delivered section to over 150,000 vehicles being delivered. We can't really add the production and deliveries together because we're going to be counting it twice and we're just going to be fooling ourselves. So that's why I separated like this. Previously in August, I had a production estimate of over 82,000. Now here's the thing. If vehicle deliveries are 83,000, this could be less. The 82,000 in production could be less. But I'm going to keep it for now because China is pumping out Model Ys, Model YLs, Model 3s like no tomorrow. For September, I'm thinking around 81,000 vehicles was produced or is going to be produced, especially now that we have Model YL at full production. Moving on to Fremont, we are seeing an increased production here because of the EV credit that's going away literally this month, end of this month. So we see them pumping a lot of Model 3s and Model Ys. And the total production for this quarter for this factory is almost 140,000 vehicles. Now I do think this is a bit more, and I think Shanghai is a bit less. But of course, we can't be 100% on these things. But I do believe that Fremont has more vehicle deliveries, more vehicle produced in this quarter. Berlin, we heard from the manager there or the head of production there saying that they are pumping it out. They are adjusting for Q3, Q4, and sales are higher. And so for that, over 57,000 vehicles being produced. Texas as well, Model 3 and Y, EV credit, that's going crazy. There's a lot of showrooms right now in the US that they have zero inventory. So I would imagine that Texas is also on full capacity, but here, I'm not saying that they are, just to be conservative, but for sure, they are pumping out almost 70,000 vehicles, which is insane. The total production, excluding July and August of Shanghai, nearing almost 350,000. I'm going to give this a 99% delivery rate, which would be around 341,921 vehicles. Adding the July and August of Shanghai, my total vehicle deliveries here, 492,999. Let's just say 493,000. That is my number of total deliveries estimation. 493,000, not hitting 500,000, but just almost there. And the reason why I'm not thinking we're going to reach 500,000 is because, well, if we look at Q4 or Q3 of 2024 compared to Q3 of 2025 for Shanghai deliveries, China deliveries, well, Tesla is 10,000 vehicles insured less than last year. Compared this year to last year. That has an effect, as well as Berlin. The Europe sales are not doing that well as much as we would like to. They're picking up now, but a month or two ago or 3 months ago, it wasn't doing really that great. So for those reasons, that's why I'm thinking, I'm pretty confident that it's not going to be over 500,000 vehicles. I hope it is. I hope I'm wrong. Comment down below what your delivery numbers are. But I think getting very close to it is a very realistic case. However, though, production is different. I'm thinking production is 507,525 vehicles being produced. I think that. I do believe that because they are producing pretty well. And I think Q4 is also going to be a strong Q for Tesla as well. So I think they're producing for that month as well. Not to mention, we have affordable models coming literally next month and the month after that. I'm thinking next month, but be ready, guys. It's going to be insane. So that's my vehicle delivery numbers, right? My production number, 507,525. My total deliveries, final delivery number is 493,000. And let's go ahead and add it to the chart, to the stock price prediction chart, to see what the revenues will be, the profits will be, what the EPS will be, and what could potentially the stock price could be around there as well. Now, before we get into that, right now, Wall Street is guessing that the EPS of Q3 earnings will be 50 cents. Now, of course, they're going to boost this up once they see the delivery numbers come up, because right now they're only expecting around 443,000 vehicles. Like, if they're going to stick with this number, we have Q3 delivery numbers. Q3 deliveries are going to be a massive beat, and they're going to go like, oh my God, we didn't know. But that's why the EPS is low. And if it's going to stay that low, well, let's see what the EPS would be with the numbers that we think is going to happen with 493,000 vehicles. So let's get down to it. Before we do that, some key information that you guys need to know. Average selling price, I dropped it down to a little bit over 39,000 per vehicle. You guys can see services are increasing, leasing is increasing as well. Vehicle gross profits here of 15%. I'm thinking this could be more, but because we have average selling price dropping a little bit, I'm going to keep this at 15%. We have energy at 3.5 billion. Here's my prediction for energy. I'm thinking 12.5 gigawatt hours of deployment at the minimum. Maximum, I think 15 gigawatt hours deployment, if not more. Tesla did say at the Mega Block or Las Vegas show that they're waiting for 30 gigawatt hours to come online. Like, that's it. If we get that, if we get all of that in this Q3, oh my God, this 3.5 billion is probably going to be in the 6.5 billion, which is going to be a fundamental shift to the earnings, EPS, how Tesla's growing. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm going to give that like a less than 5% chance of happening. What's most likely going to happen is 12.5 to 15 gigawatt hours of storage deployed. And those are record numbers, by the way, and very massive. And if it's 12.5, which I am guessing that's the number. That's the number that I'm sticking with. I'm so flipping excited. That comes down to 3.5 billion in revenue, giving it a 29% gross profits, not even a 30%. That's over $1 billion in gross profits, which is the first time ever that energy is generating $1 billion in gross profit on a quarterly basis, which is insane. I'm also thinking that stock-based compensation is going to be 400 million. And of course, shares outstanding is being diluted as well. So let's go add the numbers in. Let's see what's going to happen. 493,000 and bam, look at all these numbers coming. I flippin' love it. Revenue, over $27 billion in revenue, which is a record. Income from operations, nearly a double from Q2, 1.7 billion. Operating margin up 6.3%, which is almost a 50% growth from Q2. Net income gap of 1.7 billion, non-gap over 2 billion. It's good to see Tesla back in the 2 billions. If all this happens. We have also total gap gross margin of 18.1%, so efficiency is going up as well for Tesla. Now, I did say 12.5 gigawatt hours is about 3.5 billion. If it does 15 gigawatt hours deployed, that is 4 billion. And you guys can see the numbers get even crazier. We get almost 28 billion in revenue, 6.7%. in operating margin, almost 1.9 billion in GAAP profits, and almost 2.3 billion in non-GAAP. That is insane. You guys can see the non-GAAP EPS of 64 cents. Let's go back to 3.5 billion. That's 60 cents. So if Wall Street keeps it at 50 cents, then we've beat it by 10 cents. But of course, we know once the real delivery numbers come out, they're going to adjust it as well. And I think it's going to be close to the 60 cents as well, in my opinion. Now, what could the stock price be? Right now, Tesla, the recording of this video, it's on a Sunday, it's at 440. And the PE is around 258 or 260 almost. That would mean if Tesla does these numbers, we need a PE of 272 to reach the same thing. But that's a higher PE, and earnings was more than Q2. That's right. But EPS on an annual basis is going lower and lower. As you guys can see, Q1 was 184, Q2 was 175, and Q3, even though better than Q1 and Q2, is at 162. But I do think Q2 was the bottom, and this will really say that Q2 was the bottom. 100% no, or Q1 was the bottom, not Q2. Q2 was a better quarter than Q1. So Q1 was definitely the bottom. But that's why we get a higher PE, and I don't think Q4 we're going to be seeing a dip in the EPS. I think that's going to be the first quarter in a while the EPS will start to go up, which will also justify a high PE. What could the stock price be at that time? At this point, I don't know, but if Q3 earnings comes out as good as I think it's going to be, it could probably go as high as 300 PE, going back to all-time highs of 486. At the same time, a week or two later, if Elon's compensation gets passed, which I do think it will, I think this can even go as high as flipping like 315, 320 PE, which would be over $510 per share, which is insane. With the amount of growth that's coming and the amount of confidence that now Tesla has because of the Elon's compensation package, the milestones, Elon buying $1 billion worth of stock, robotaxis coming out, Optimus, energy, all these things, I can see Tesla being at this is low PE in my opinion. I think we can see the PE being as high as like 700, 800 once again until the next years and the year after, the next quarters will bring that down because earnings are going to be flipping phenomenal. But that's just my opinion and my opinion alone. Let's just forget about the Q3 earnings. A bit too early for that. Let's see how many vehicles they're going to deliver first and what the energy deployment's going to be. So let's hold up our horses for that. Right now, what's important is what the Q3 numbers are going to be and what the energy is. And deliveries, as I mentioned, 493,000 and energy deployed 12.5 gigawatt hours at the minimum. Comment down below what are your numbers for these two things. I think production is going to be over 500,000 in my opinion, but not deliveries. Curious to know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let's see. Let's see what you guys think. I'm very, very excited for this. And you know what else we should be excited for? The next stock split, because that's also a year or two away in my opinion. Here's the breakdown of it and when the next stock price is going to be, and you guys can judge on yourself too based on the numbers. It's very interesting. So grab your popcorn. It's awesome. So subscribe, guys. Become a channel member. And I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.